three-time Super Bowl champion, Darren Woodson.
Love it. I used to watch this dude. I'm serious. Look, I know you two. I know you two, right?
Yeah.
I used to watch this dude hoop, man. My brother, if my brother was sitting here with me right now, dog, he talking about Paul Pierce, dog.
And boy, the truth. He is the truth.
Something I couldn't do. I could never hoop.
I'm telling you.
He faked the injury.
That's all right. I got the wheelchair in my trophy case. Next to the other trophy.
That sounds like us.
Darren is a teammate of Michael's and a fellow member of the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Very glad to have you with us. Darren is here as part of Choctaw Casino and Resorts, where the Players Play campaign that features him alongside Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, and Pudge Rodriguez. So tell us a little bit about where the Players Play, Darren.
Players Play it's about Choctaw Casino, which is located, which you know about, it's off 75 in Central, up just about 45 from my house, 45 minutes from my house. It's a casino that's located up there. The smoke-free casino on one side, lagoon pools, event centers, a little bit of everything. So I always used to fly. I mean, you know how this works. We used to always fly to Vegas. I don't fly to Vegas anymore. I stay right there in 45 minutes from my house, and we go, and family's there all the time. It's a great location. That's what we're doing there.
Oh, that's dope.
Ain't get a better salesman than Woody.
I'll sell now.
This is my dude here, man. When Darren came in, him, Pup, all those young guys, right? We were trying to get a lot of speed on the team. All these dudes came in running 4.2s. They were clocking them 4. I said, God darn. I went right in the locker room, stood in front of all of them, dead naked, and said,
Oh, my God.
all these 4-1s and 4.2s y'all running. Y'all running them in the first quarter. I'm only going to run a 4.5. But I'm going to run it all day long. So your 4.2 in the second quarter going to be a 4.4. In the third quarter going to be a 4.6. In the fourth quarter, I'm going to be running right by you.
And you know what? The only thing I can remember about that day is you showed up butt naked. I'm like, why do you have to tell this butt naked? Put some clothes on.
And I have, you got to bring in the young guys and make them part of the team. They're sitting there looking at, oh, that's short. Like, dude, I'm going to need you to make a play. Yeah. I'm going to need you in the fourth quarter to make a play. So you're breaking it down. You're having fun with them. But Darren always sat me down. Darren sits you down and say, hey, man, tell me how and what I need to do to be successful forever. I'm not just talking about a few years here. And we used to talk about the business side of it, man. Yeah. He does such a great job, man. I'm so proud of him.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well, listen, your speech was clearly effective. So.
What's my job?
I ain't give me the money now. You can forget it.
Yeah, you can forget it. And you see how he goes and get that money. He's the one to get it now. That Choctaw is good business.
How does this Chiefs team compare to your Cowboys?
That's. Look, I think one of the things I don't want to get lost on is that we had an opportunity. We went back to back as champs. And the opportunity was there for us, and we didn't take advantage of the opportunity. And I can't just say it was us, but it was a little bit of, you don't fire your head coach after 2 back-to-back championships.
Right.
I would have loved to have our head coach for the next third year, the fourth year, but he got fired, right? So we moved on from that. But when you look back at it, we won 3 out of 4. We had that opportunity, and the Chiefs right now, and I admire what we're seeing right now. We're seeing greatness right now. We're in the midst of greatness, and we're talking about referees and all these other, ancillary things. The Chiefs right now, led by Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, are in the brink of greatness. If they win this game, they go down as but the only team that's ever three-peated. Yeah. So you got to give them their flowers.
How do you stop Mahomes?
I don't think you do stop Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to get his. I think that what you have to do is you can't allow them to be balanced. I'm speaking from a defensive mindset, right? You can't allow them to be balanced. You can't run the football at you and then, give up plays with Mahomes and here and there. He's going to get some of his plays. He's going to make some really good plays, but you can't give up the big plays with the Chiefs. You got to make them earn every single thing. And it can't be these 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s. You got to get them in 3rd and 8s and 39s. That's when you have success against this football.
How hard is it to stop Jalen Hurts now in the air and on the ground? Because this is a different style quarterback.
Yeah, it is. But look, Jalen, if you look, what do we always say on defense? First thing we always say is, first thing Coach Parcells used to say, used to be in those meetings, stop the run. This is the best example of that when you play the Philadelphia Eagles. You have to stop Saquon Barkley. If he gets going, doesn't matter what's happening. It sets up everything. It sets up the deep balls. Now you got to play man-to-man. You got one-on-one outside with Brown. Yeah, but you got guys running down the field. You cannot give up the big run plays. Stop the run. And I don't want Jalen Hurts to beat me. Right. He's going to have to beat me.
We talk a lot about that.
Don't start saying though. That's what you start. You said he can do it. Yes, he can. He has shown throughout the years in the past that he has the ability to throw the football down the field.
But I'm taking the lesser of two evils, Saquon or Jalen. Saquon, Jalen.
So here's the problem with Saquon. So Saquon is the guy, he's playing such a physical, they're such a physical team offensively. Right. And when Saquon gets going, it's almost like Emmett. When Emmett used to get going, the energy on that sideline, because they are physically beating you. Yeah. Right. They are physically manhandling, and that's for any defense, it's demoralizing. And the offense is sitting there, Michael Irvin and Keyshawn on the sideline say, y'all got to get them out. And they killing you, right? You got to get them. So you have to take care of Saquon. He cannot be a guy that hits you for 10 yards, 15 yards, and hit you for a 40-yard. You can make him, you limit him, and put it on Jalen Hurts. Figure it out.
We talk a lot about the Jalen Hurts and the Saquon, like we did in our day when we talked about the triplets. But our defense was a great defense. When you see this Philadelphia Eagles defense, what do you see? I see some incredible stuff.
Jalen Carter.
All them Georgia boys.
Yeah, the interior of that defensive line is the problem. They are a big concern. If you can't handle Jalen Carter in the middle of the field, if he's taking your guard and center back into the quarterback, that's a problem. So you got to start. That's where you start. Philadelphia plays a lot of zones, so they don't like to be in man-to-man situations unless they get you into 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, and you want them to play man-to-man. I don't want them to play that shell coverage. I want to get them out of that. So that's what I'm saying. Kansas City gets it into 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5. You got to play man-to-man, and that's where he's going to pick them apart.
Well, let's say, because Woodson would have been great. He was ahead of his time, Darren was, because Darren played a lot in the slot. We used to work out all the time against Darren in the slot. When you see a guy like Travis Kelce, right? I watched the game last time they played it, and they doubled Travis Kelce, but they let him off the ball. They were not jamming him on the ball. And I said, you got to jam him. How would you play a guy like Travis Kelce?
You got to get your hands on him. Sorry, look, no offense here, but it's almost like playing him. Like when you play Key in the slot. Like if you don't get your hands or try to get some kind of, and he was physical. I had to play him. I had to play him all the time when we play. And if you don't get your hands on him, he's savvy enough to find the holes, right? He's savvy enough to sit and then move.
Playing basketball.
He doesn't have a quarterback. Right. He just never had a quarterback. Thank God you didn't have a quarterback to throw you the ball, right? But I'm sorry, no. I didn't mean to say that to you. But honestly, but it is. It's like those two know each other. Right. Kelce and 15 know each other so well. He knows where he's going to sit down in the zone. Or if you're playing a man-to-man, you can't let him have a free run. That's what a free run is you're done. You're done.
Because they're changing up plays in the middle of the play.
Absolutely.
You got to stop that at the line of scrimmage.
When you look at this receiver group between the two, which one you favor?
Oh, Philadelphia, hands down. Hands down. I mean,
but it ain't hands down.
No, well, it's not hands down because of the quarterback. You're thinking about it as, okay, you put those two on Kansas City.
Oh, you put those two on Kansas City, then
wrap.
It's
a wrap.
They might win 10 in a row.
Yeah.
But when I look at as a group, Kansas City as a group though, they're pretty good as a receiving group.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the room itself, they don't have the big names, right? They got the young guy in Worthy, and then Hollywood Brown is there. Then you got Juju who knows how to play football. Yeah. And eventually, I'm sure Hop will catch fire, hopefully, in this game. He will, because he's been slowed down a little bit, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just how the distribution of the field is being spit out to all the different receivers as you see Patrick Mahomes doing it. I like it. Now, big play-wise, it seems like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they get bigger gulp of plays because of how the offense play-action passes run. and when you got Saquon Barkley 8 and 9 men in the box, you're going to get the single coverage on the outside all day long. I just feel like when I look at it, it's close. It's close. The group is close. Because Dallas Goedert is a tight end. It's good.
I got something.
He ain't chopped liver.
We already know who the stars of this show is.
Yeah.
You know, Mahomes, Hurts. Who's going to be the biggest X factor for the Chiefs for them to win, and who's got to be the X factor for the Philly to win?
Kansas City, Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie. I'm telling you right now, he's going to get one-on. Spagnuolo is going to have to figure out a way to stop the run. So that safety's dropping in the box.
Here come big.
Yeah, you're going to get that 8 9 in the box.
He's getting that. They're dropping him in the box. Now there's one-on-one on the outside. Yeah. And Trent McDuffie has put it down. Like, I'm telling you, he is one of the elite corners in the league. And people don't give him a lot of credit, but you watch him. He's on that island 90% of the game, and he shows up every play.
I just saw A.J. Brown get down.
Oh, yeah.
Right on Lattimore. Banged him up, beat him down. Lattimore liked to try to get physical. Mm-hmm. That fella was
that's the matchup.
Physical.
But I love that matchup because look, as a defensive back, that's what you want to see. You want to see I want to see my dude match up. Whoever it is, right? If it's Deion Sanders, I want to see him match up against Key, or I want to see him get matched up against Mike. But they have to figure out a way to stop Saquon, and that leaves your corners one-on-one in those opportunities.
Right.
So there are going to be opportunities down the field.
Who's throwing that ball to A.J. Brown?
Jalen Hurts.
Okay, I just
they were great.
I just needed to feel that.
Are you on this?
Yeah.
I just needed to feel it. That's all.
He made great throws. He made that deep ball down, but A.J. was wide open. It was easy to throw. Pitch and catch. It was pitch and catch.
This dude, man.
So he didn't win at the line of scrimmage?
I know. Oh, God.
Let's talk a little Cowboys while we have you
I couldn't
here.
wait. I couldn't wait to dive in.
Why we got to go there?
I can never get the truth out of him. I can't never get the truth out of him.
Why is it so hot in here?
AC is last. We're good. Well, let's start with the easy one. Obviously, we all love Coach Prime. Would you like to see him coach in the NFL?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we've watched Prime coach. I've watched him coach from the Little League, from his team, The Truth, in Dallas, and moved up to Trinity Christian Academy in high school, and then went to Jackson State, and now he's at Colorado. I've watched this man just grow as a coach, and not only a coach, but just as a human being. Like he's a great father. He teaches these kids on and off the field. Like we see Prime, and we always say, oh, the bling and the diamonds and all that. But what we don't see is what he's doing behind the scenes. He's pouring into these kids.
Right.
And
been doing it all his life.
All his life. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same thing, taking kids in. I'm telling him about it all the time with him. I tell him.
Hey, Woody, why do you think ultimately Jerry couldn't get it done? Because it's on Jerry to get it done.
Yeah.
Even if Prime says he doesn't want to coach in the National Football League, I can make you coach in the league. Here, man. Just
what was that buyout?
It's nothing.
$8 million.
It's nothing.
No. Okay, has Jerry ever really paid a coach?
No.
But you ain't paying just a coach.
No, you're not. But Jerry's never paid a coach. He's never.
And that's why 30 years. And that's why since y'all won the.
Thank you. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, like seriously.
For Cowboys fans to get him there.
I would have loved to have seen it.
Right. You're right. They could have GoFundMe and they would have gotten that money from the Cowboys paying.
Right. Deion there.
But it's just ridiculous that he couldn't get it done. He messed around and played around a couple times with McCarthy and said, I don't want to deal with that anymore. Then it says to all of us, hey, I just talked to Deion on the phone. So we all get excited and hyped about it, and we pushing it and we trying to send the message. And then all of a sudden he hired Schottenheimer.
Yeah. And it was a tough one. That was surprising. I thought they would go outside the organization and bring in someone to make a splash. And the way it just went about it, I mean, there was zero media attention around it. It happened at midnight on a Friday or something. And it was just, there wasn't a lot of splash to it. But here's the thing when I look at the Cowboys organization. When this organization's been really good, it's when Jimmy Johnson came in and he bought the groceries. He hired and he fired. He He handled the personnel. He threatened my man here, who ended up, and he used to always say, it rolls downhill, right? So he would threaten him, and guess who he would threaten? Me and the rest of the crew, right? So there was a culture there, right? Same thing y'all had in Boston, right? You understood. It's the big three, it fell down with you guys. So that's how we were with Jimmy Johnson. And then it was when Coach Parcells came in.
Yeah.
We were 5-11, 5-11, 5-11. Parcells came in, bought the groceries, and they turned it around to 10-6, and we were a division champ. The head coach has to have some control. And that's all I'm saying. At some point, whoever they bring in needs to buy the groceries and needs to be the decision maker.
How do you think Schottenheimer will do, coach, as head coach of the Dallas?
I don't know enough. I'll just be honest, Mike. I mean, that's a great question because I don't know enough. I know Schottenheimer's been in the building for 4 years. I know that part. I don't know him enough about his coaching style because he wasn't asked to call the plays. He was behind the scenes. I know he had a strong relationship with Dak, but I just don't know enough. Look, I'm going to support, honestly, I'll say this. It's like if it's the new president, I'm supporting the new president. Like, whoever it is, I'm going to support, right? Whoever the head coach is, I'm going to support, and I just don't know enough about Shotty.
Well, I can tell you he's been fired from every offensive coordinating post he's ever had, so start there. Secondly, he didn't call plays at all, okay?
Run it down.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I got to go back to Dallas, man.
And what do you know? I live on this, and I know people think, well, Michael always bring this up, you know, because I know, you know, these guys don't, right, as presently constructed, Dallas Cowboys, they don't have mandatory nights at the hotel before the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Can you imagine?
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to leave at 1 p.m. Saturday, you show back up 3 p.m. Sunday to play a game. And you're playing against guys that have been meeting all night, eating, sleeping together, talking about the game, and now you show up and play a game. What kind of disadvantage you believe that to be?
No, it's a huge disadvantage. And it's not just that. It's just you know, I relate it back to this. I remember when Troy used to show up to practice in the offseason and throw balls. Who used to show up? Everyone showed up.
Yeah, everybody.
Including him. First one out there, right? Everyone showed up. I office at the Star in Frisco. And I look down, you know, I look right down on the football field. And every year, at about 2 weeks outside of the season, Dak Prescott's downstairs. He's throwing balls, right? But I don't see all the starting receivers. I see guys off the street. I see practice squad guys out there that he's throwing the ball to. And that's the hard part about it. You don't build a team in July and September. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
It starts in the offseason. You either buy in or you don't buy in. And this team hasn't bought in.
Well, my eyes were tearing up when you were saying that because I did Darren know I went by the motto, when Troy throw, I go. And I mean, you ain't running no route with Troy. They're paying me too much. I can't let them find out that you can catch these passes too. Right. You see what I mean? So I would run a route and come down the middle of the practice field. They trying to take a break. No, I'm not taking a break. You know, and come back. And these guys nowadays, they don't have that.
No.
Like you're talking about. You saw it with Romo and Witt. Every time you looked out, they were out
outside. That's right.
They were throwing passes, and you got to get back to that some kind of way. That's the only way you win championships. Wait, Mike, we're gonna talk about this. Michael Parsons said that Derrick Henry wouldn't have made a difference this year.
Yeah, come on, man, stop.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Stop
sure.
it. Stop
I
it.
just wanted to make sure.
Stop it. Like, I mean,
Podcast doing good.
Right. You know, right. He's saying things to get us riled up.
No.
To get it mentioned. Like Derrick Henry would have made a huge difference.
And Derrick Henry you just watch him in the offseason. He lives in Dallas. He works out in Dallas every day. He's doing all the things it takes to be a pro. Yeah. We need more players in that locker room that are pros. And that's a serious. I'm being serious. Right. I think they're very casual. I think there's not a whole lot of intent. I think they're a very casual organization. And casual is going to get you 500.
So that'll be 500 again.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we have to see what Schottenheimer brings to the table.
I just can't. I can't envision Schottenheimer being any different than what I already know as an offensive play caller. But as Michael has consistently said, and you just said it yourself, you need some sort of leadership from the top down. Well, the top people ain't going nowhere. They're going to stay there.
That's right.
But the head coach, for 4 years sat next to the dude you just fired, which means you're going to get the same guy because he learning from him. You ain't getting nothing different.
You're trying to make too much sense, Key. I mean, you don't have to make sense, dude. You don't have to make sense
Wait,
right now. Right?
no,
We are trying to make sense of this as well, right?
I'm like, change?
Yeah.
You're not getting no change with that. It had you going out and hiring Aaron Glenn or went out and
Bring somebody in.
Mike Vrabel or Belichick or somebody like that, then we can have a different conversation. But you're hiring a guy that sat next to the guy for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like I said, I got to go back to Dallas today. I got to fly back.
Before we let you go, do you have a pick for Sunday?
Until someone beats Kansas City,
You know, in Kansas City?
I'm going with Kansas. I think it's a really good matchup. Seriously, and I'm from the NFC East, so there's always that rivalry with the Eagles. And I'm not saying this just because, but
So this has nothing to do with you rooting against the Eagles.
because I picked
East.
the Eagles a couple of years ago against Kansas City. I thought the Eagles were the better, and I still think, pound for pound, personnel-wise, the Eagles are the better team, personnel-wise. But 1-5, there's something about him. He's different, and if the game is close, they're going to figure out a way to win that game.
Right. Before we go, because I know tomorrow night it's the Hall of Fame. With Darren Woodson, you're certainly a Hall of Famer. You know, you're a Hall of Famer. There are 10 guys from Dallas defense that played in Dallas in the Hall. You are the all-time leading tackler for that. I don't know how all those other 10 guys could be in and you're not in if you were the all-time leading tackler. Talk to me about the Hall of Fame.
It means a lot to me, man. Seriously, it does. It's not like, and I think we're lying. I think so many people are out there saying, well, it doesn't mean that big. It's not that big of a deal, and, you know, I can get by. No. You didn't play that game, just play the game casually. Like, I played the game, and I have, you know, three trophies to prove it. I showed up every single day. I led by example. I followed guys that I needed to follow to be a professional. And I tried to do all those things that lead up to winning championships. And then also, in the end, the individual accolade is the cherry on top, and that is the Hall of Fame. And I feel like I'm deserving of it. And at some point, here's my issue, though. I don't control who goes in. And a lot like you, Key, you didn't control the quarterbacks that threw you the ball, right? I mean, it sucked.
I tried to, but
it didn't work that way.
It didn't work out that way. I tried as much as I could.
But I do. I feel like there's, that's the cherry on the top.
You do.
That's it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Darren Woodson. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.